All right, this is Obey on behalf of Electronics, and in this video, we'll be talking about factors that impact supply, okay, or the supply curve to be specific. All right, now when it comes to your supply curve, okay, let's assume that this is your supply curve over here. All right, this is your supply curve, and this is your demand curve. Okay, and let's assume that this is your equilibrium right over here. All right, so this is your equilibrium at this point. Okay, the suppliers are producing what the consumers want. Okay, the quantity is the right quantity, the price is the right price. Okay, we also talked about surplus and we talked about shortages. Now, since we're talking about supply curve in this video, we'll look into how the supply curve or factors impact supply curve in general. Okay, so when it comes to factors, okay, number one factor is the cost of raw materials. Okay, so cost of raw materials, resources, whatever you use for production. Okay, it could be precious metals, okay, such as gold and silver. It could be commodities, okay, such as wheat, barley, and oat. Okay, or it could be something like oil. Okay, so cost of raw materials will definitely impact your supply curve. Okay, now if the cost of raw materials go up, okay, it's going to increase or bump up your cost of production. All right. So as the cost of production goes up, okay, the supply curve, okay, which is this curve over here, this will shift to the left. Okay, so this will be your new supply curve, S1. All right, with a new equilibrium. All right, so that will be your supply curve. As it shifts to the left, okay, the supplier will be producing less. Okay, will be selling at a higher price to make up for the loss. All right, so that would be the cost of raw materials. The second factor that may impact your supply curve is disease, for example. Considering a disease can impact your supply chain, okay, we know that this disease will shift the supply chain to the left. Okay, so it will shift the supply curve to the left one more time, just like the cost of raw materials that keep on increasing. All right. Now, apart from disease, you also have things like changes in weather. All right. So changes in weather will impact your supply curve. And when we talk about weather, okay, we can talk about floods, tsunamis, okay, landslides, okay, earthquakes, okay, global warming in general, okay, so on and so forth. So changes in weather, if it does disrupt your agricultural industry, for example, it will delay all those shipments. All right, which means, okay, the supply curve will move or shift to the left. All right, so this will be your supply curve one more time. All right, now apart from changes in weather, you also have, okay, government policies. Okay, so you have tariffs and taxes, okay, rules and regulations. Okay, so let's write this down over here. This would be your government policies. And when we talk about government policies, okay, obviously tariffs and taxes will increase the cost of production. All right, as a result of which, what's going to happen is the supply curve will shift to the left one more time. All right, so this will be a new supply curve, okay, because of government policies. Now, government policies can go both ways, okay? The tariffs as well as taxes may increase cost of production and may shift the supply curve to the left, but government policies such as subsidies, okay, may shift the supply curve to the right. Okay, so this could be S2 over here. All right, so again, tariffs, okay, they will reduce supply, okay, and you have subsidies, especially in the agricultural industry, that may increase supply, right? So if the government, for example, does pay all the farmers or buys their products, what's going to happen is the farmers will have the incentive to produce more, right? Because obviously their surplus is being taken care of by the government. All right. So apart from government policies, that you also have technology. All right. So number five is technology. And when it comes to technology, when it comes to science and technology, we're talking about inventions, innovations, so on and so forth. Okay, so for example, if because of an invention, your machinery is more efficient than before, okay, basically means that the cost of production will go down, right? So your cost of production will go down, all right, because of this efficient technology. Now, apart from that, it may also mean that the employers may be able to hire more workers, right? So because of the machinery, okay, the employers may be able to recruit more workers. So employment may either go up or down. Okay, if the machinery acts as a substitute for workers, it will reduce employment. If the machinery is complementary, okay, to the labor market or to the hiring of workers, what it's going to do is it's going to increase recruitment, is going to increase employment. It's going to reduce your unemployment. So employment will go up and unemployment will go down. All right. So these are all the factors that impact the supply curve. And when they do, they either move the supply curve to the left or to the right. Okay. So if for any reason the cost of production goes up because of these factors, okay, the supply curve will shift to the left. If the cost of production is reduced because of any one of these factors, okay, the supply curve will shift to the right. All right, so that's it for this video. On behalf of B Electronics, this is Obey. Have yourself a great day.